Hello, hi everyone. Good evening, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today from part of the world. A very warm welcome to the Integration for AI and Gen AI Hackathon workshop number 3. We are thrilled to have you here with us today. I can see a lot of people already watching us, and a lot of them have already acknowledged in joining us today. So while we walk through the overall session itself, we should see more people joining us now and here and then. So thank you so much for people who are already there or in the waiting list and are still joining us today with this. We're really excited for the third workshop today. We've already conducted two of them, right? And we see a lot of interest coming out, a lot of questions coming us to us on the table about different services of Informatica. So that's what we're here for, right? So today, let me allow me to share my screen quickly, and I'll walk you guys through that. I believe you're able to see my screen. So yeah, so this third workshop, wherein we are going to learn to build DI pipelines with DQ transformations to integrate standardized data into Salesforce, establishing a reliable foundation for AI initiatives and enhanced insights. So today's workshop is again going to be very interesting. We will be joined by another new face for you guys, right? We've already had conducted two other workshops and an introductory session for you guys to understand in depth about this hackathon, and also about to know more about this overall journey, what is going to happen, right? So I'll just walk you through on a real quick basis for those who are joining us every day. This is very repetitive for you guys, I understand, but people who are watching us for the first time and have hopped out onto this call, to understand about this hackathon and what are these workshops about. So this is going to be a really exciting, a journey for you guys. Stay tuned and keep watching this till the end. We will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Feel free to post them into the comment box, and we will get back to you with the right answers from the panel of speakers that we are going to have today. Just to throw some light on the hackathon itself, this is a gold, as I stated, this is our golden opportunity and a chance not only to dive deeper into Informatica's powerful tools and technologies, but also to compete for an incredible prize pool, right? This hackathon is more than just a competition. It's an opportunity for you to innovate, collaborate, and create solutions that could shape the future of generative AI, right? So today's session is all about Informatica services, and continuing on the series of workshops that we are doing. Before we head towards the workshop, real quick, I would like to highlight these key timelines and milestones that are there for you to achieve during the hackathon journey itself. We are currently in the registration and the idea submission phase. The idea submissions are due on 9th of Feb. So if you're somebody who's participating, you're still figuring out the ideas, make sure you do it before 9th. And if you are a fresh new individual who's watching us for the first time itself, you can also register and become part of this journey. So the registration date is 6th of Feb itself. So make sure you are aligned with the due dates and you register for the hackathon, right? And take things through and enjoy the overall journey with us as we go through the journeys and different phases of the hackathon. We're also undergoing workshops and AMAs. So workshops, now we are watching one, right? There will be another AMA session, Ask Me Anything session with the mentor panel, and with different spokes from Informatica. They will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have in related to the platform, in related to the hackathon, and what is the journey going to be looking like in a month or two, right? So that's what we're going to do. There will be a prototyping stage for people who will get shortlisted out of the ID submissions, and then out of the prototyping stage, there will be certain teams who will be invited to the grand finale, which is going to happen online, but it is not any less than an offline hackathon. It's going to be very exciting, right? Don't miss out on that. So keep working on your ideas. Keep, if you're not registered, register today and work against your ideas. Build innovative solutions using different tools and technologies. Like I said, there's a grand prize pool. There's a prize pool of 14,000 US dollars. There, it is bifurcated in different segments. Have a look at my screen if you're able to do so, and you can also check this out later on the Hacker Skills platform, wherein you'll see integration for AI and Gen AI hackathon hosted. So make sure you visit the website and you register yourself today. All right. I'll not take much of the time now. We are running out of a little time here. So I'd like to introduce you guys to our panel of speakers today. We will be joined by Sudhir. Sudhir is Principal Technical Marketing Manager at Informatica. We will also be joined by Karthikeyan. He's Principal Product Manager at Informatica. And Ocean. Ocean is a Product Manager at Informatica. Thank you so much, guys, for hopping onto this call real quick. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Shakti.
Right.
Thank you guys for joining this call real quick. I did a very small introduction that is nothing. I just read out the designation maybe, and you guys can introduce yourselves first, and maybe then one of you can get started. Like maybe if Sudhir you want to go first, everybody can introduce themselves, and then maybe we can start with the workshop.
Hi everyone, I'm Sudhir. I'm a technical marketing manager at Informatica. So you must have seen me in my earlier sessions that we had for day 1 and day 2. So today we are going to cover our remaining sessions on data quality and data integration part. So I would leave Karthik and Sian to introduce themselves.
Okay. Thanks, Sudhir. Hi everyone. Myself, Karthikeyan. I'm part of product management team, and I take care of cloud data integration and ecosystem SQLity. So in this session, I will be covering more about the CDI perspective details. Thank you.
Yeah, so my name is Sean O'Shea. I'm one of the group product managers for the cloud data quality services and capabilities on the platform from Informatica.
Cheers. Thank you so much, guys, for the quick introduction. Maybe, Sudhir, you can just give us a summary of whatever has happened and covered in workshop 1 and 2, and then maybe we can take it over from there. Over to you guys. Thank you.
Sudhir, I think you're in mute.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Hope I'm able hope you can see my screen.
Yep.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Welcome to this integration for AI Gen AI workshop hands-on lab. So like you all know, we have already revisited through these prerequisites like installing Secure Agent and registering for Salesforce Developer Edition, Snowflake trials, and Gemini AI trials in order to do this workshop. So I hope people have started working on this workshop. And I'd like to run through the business scenario again. So suppose, say like a fictitious customer who has migrated to Salesforce to enhance the sales performance. They plan to build an AI agent that could help the sales team to for the lead prioritization, revenue forecasting, and understanding the upsell opportunities. But unfortunately, even after building the AI agent, they ended up with issues because of the data quality and incomplete migration validation that has happened to their legacy system to Salesforce. So we'll see like how this issue can be resolved using an IDMC platform, like how you can build a Salesforce AI agent without using any third-party code or third-party tools or any coding. And also you see like how our other IDMC services can help you integrate and standardize and fix the data issues with that could help the AI agent to put in better revenue forecasting and upsell opportunities output. So like in day 1, we are already covered on the lab 1 where we're focused on how to build a Salesforce AI agent using recipe, using an application integration, iPaaS. And then in day 2, we have already covered on like how you can ingest the data from Salesforce to Snowflake so that you can use that particular data for your analytics and all these things using an application ingestion task. Along with that, Sian has also covered on the data profiling part, which is an important part to identify your data anomalies you have with different data sets and different feeds and everything. So coming to the day 3 part, so today we'll cover on data quality part. So you now will learn like how you can build data quality assets to fix the data anomalies that you identified as part of the profiling, and then followed by data integration part where we'll learn like how this data quality can be integrated into your day-to-day pipelines so that you could have a standardized and well integrated data at the end. And then at the end we'll see like now re-executing the same Salesforce the prompt in the same Salesforce AI agent, how the data would look like after the data has gone through all these steps. So I would like to Sian to continue. So Sian will be elaborating on the data quality part. Over to you, Sian.
Perfect. Thank you, Sudhir. So great to be back here again today. So look forward to sharing some time and some of this information with you again today. So let me begin. Okay, so just to recap on yesterday, as Sudhir said, we spent some time in the process of discovering data and that of profiling to understand, the strengths and the weaknesses, the fault lines, the structure, the content within data, and by extension, relationships that we can find in the data. Now, the next thing to do is to understand what standards do we need to apply to that data, so the definition of rules. And I use a generic term of rules, be it for different types of assets or transformations, depending on where you're coming from. So a parser, I would think of a parser as a rule also, but we have 5 different assets as such. So we use rules, dictionaries, so our cleanse, parse, verification processes, etc. So they're the kind of the items or the assets that we would apply to the data. So we do that application through the medium of a mapping as data moves from a source to a target. And then, as I mentioned yesterday, also is that we have the approach of measure and monitor when looking at when we have a change management type project or process. And it's important that we can always measure what it is we're changing as such. So we have those kind of inbuilt capabilities, threshold alerts, scorecarding. Um, we have a term of observability. I'll talk about that in a while. So it's all in the effort of seeking out high quality data. That's what data quality is about. High quality data in this digital, data driven, data dependent world that we all live in today. So and that data we're looking to be trustworthy and accurate at as much as possible. So fit for purpose, as I mentioned yesterday. So yes, there is, as we move forward in the how to measure things and how to up level in a standardized method, we talk about dimensions. So there's a set of recognized data quality dimensions. I've namely called out some here. More of the common ones are the completeness, conformity, consistency, accuracy. So these are the guys. So we're moving on from our column profiling and relationships more to talk about completeness and conformity and duplication, etc. So that's just to make reference to the dimensions. So as you're aware, as you interact with our capabilities, data quality is front and center as a service capability. What I am highlighting here is very closely aligned with that of quality is a new term of observability, which has popped its head in late 2021 and has grown since. And it's very aligned with that of understanding data and how it flows through organizations and how we uplevel that. And in essence, trying to uncover data problems in advance of becoming issues at all powered by the Claire AI engine within our application, sitting on any of the hyperscalers of your choice. So enough of that. The drilling a little bit more into data quality itself is, so we spoke about the profiling. These are the key kind of critical capabilities that any enterprise DQ offering needs to be able to address. So profiling by extension helps us to give us direction in what to address and where to go. So once we uncover, for example, that a data set has an incredible amount of nulls or an unreasonable amount of duplicated records, then there's a sense of how do we move forward. So you're looking at activities such as validating data. So are your country codes consistent? Are you using tiering categorization, such as bronze, gold, silver, to categorize customers, for example? Are your employee IDs unique? Are any of your uh, uh, columns or domains that require uniqueness, are they all conforming to the level of uniqueness required? So validation of data is very, very important, and we can achieve that using the concept of rules, for example. Standardizing data. So that's taking multiple descriptions or codes and returning them to a single code. So for example, there are two examples here. How do we standardize some different values to a one and single solitary value that is understood by everybody so that it simplifies things within our environments? Fuzzy and matching, fuzzy lookup and matching. So we have within our capability deduplication is what we call it, and it's all about identity matching. So identifying, relating to persons, and understanding, is a record a duplicate of another, and consolidating that kind of information together. Parsing is simply taking an input string and splitting it out into its component parts and using that in further downstream uh, systems. So it's important to be able to parse out tokens from an input string, so as shown in the graphic. And then another key line item that we have, or capability, is that of verification. So we address verification, for example, and understanding that an address is actually real. And by extension, where we have information that is incomplete, that we can enrich it with the correct details. So for example, you can add the additional four digits to a 5-digit zip code, for example, by default. It's based on the address values that are provided. So enriching data is a key critical capability. And these are all capabilities that are recognized by all vendors, analysts, etc., that are required within any data quality feature function capabilities. Okay, so drilling a little bit down into that is we have the whole idea of a rule. So our capabilities, as we have, it's as Sudhir made mention, it's point, click, configure. It's a low code, no code, primarily a no code solution that we have here. So we have the ability to build rules, as I show here in the graphic on the slide. Um, you can construct it within the design panel. So there's a design aspect here, but we have embedded within it a runtime capability that you can unit test any development within this design experience, namely using the test panel. So that when you come to deploy this rule in a larger process, you have increased confidence that it's going to work and behave as expected. So that is, and then the idea is that we have a single UX interface that addresses all that is accessible to all personas, be they from the more technical to the less technical um, interaction patterns. So it's democratized, and you're bringing data quality capabilities closer to the business, those that own the data as such. So what is a rule? If we just drill it into it a little bit, it's a piece of business logic, broadly speaking, created under the concept of a rule specification, and it's designed to have actions such as completeness or validation and standardization as examples. So as I say, it's a piece of logic. It will have decision trees embedded within, but it'll manifest as also as an if then else construct. So that's quite understandable by the less technical of us. We have the ability to consume dictionaries within the concept of a rule. So dictionaries are namely long and loose lists of data values that we store within our DQ functionality. So you can read from a dictionary you can and you can standardize then values based on values that you find in a dictionary. So we'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at a dictionary when we come to looking at the product itself. Okay, so back in 2023, we advanced the rule specification. So I made reference to a no code and a low code. So we offer a code or a low code approach to the rule also. It's something that there was a transformation. It's around decision, decision capability, and decision logic, and we use that to help drive the functionality within this asset. So in the tool or within the frame of the rule specification, you have the ability to switch to an advanced rule. It's what we term an advanced rule, which has this low code approach to encoding rules also. Okay, you will see in the exercise that has been provided that there's reference to both a cleanse and a parse. So hence I am showing the cleanse asset, details around the cleanse asset and that of a parse also. So cleansing data is all about removing noise from data, removing spaces, unwanted values, and standardizing, broadly speaking, the data so that it would be complete and conform and consistent in essence as you want and need to use the data. So it can feed in and your downstream activities will be more correct and yield superior results. So cleansing data, as you would say in English, just cleaning that data up. So it is based on, for those that would be familiar in the old paradigm, it's built on the case and the standardized transformations. So again, the parser asset. So when we're looking at parsing, I don't have it. Okay. Parsing in itself, there's two types or approaches to parsing. There's your parsing out data is that you do it using regular expressions and that of dictionaries, or you can use name pattern parsing. So, and where you have patterns already encoded within the asset itself. So it's a core functional capability and it has a stepwise approach, and we'll look at that as well in the feature function. So just to extend, we have that of a verifier asset, and it's the ability to correct addresses from right across the world, standardize those addresses, and as I mentioned earlier, the ability to enrich with geocoding, for example, so that you can add very precise details for delivery to an address if and when required by our customers. A labeler transformation is namely all about just adding a label to describe a field or a domain, and it helps us to categorize characters, an input string as such. So labeling data is a very useful technique as well within the data management and data quality practices. Okay, and as I mentioned, also is our ability to dedupe. So dedupe or matching, you can see from the graphic as well, very much a point and configure functionality here. Drop down menus, selection, and advanced options, you just switch. Matching as a practice is a very, very complex line item, and through the capabilities surfaced on within our toolkit, we try to simplify that for everybody. Okay, so it's all good to develop these assets, but it's important then that they can be used and applied to data as it moves from a source system to a target system as we move and cleanse data in the process. Okay. One other line item that I'd like to highlight, and as it bootstraps your engagement of projects in the informatica and data quality world, is the concept of bundles. And these are pre-created assets that are available for you to download. So we have over 800 assets available under the administration tab on your IDMC environment, and they can be downloaded, and they will utilize the different assets such as dictionaries right through to validation capabilities. And they're already pre-canned and they can be used, because the principle of design once and reuse anywhere is core tenet of our design thinking. Okay, so with that, data quality is something that is there for everyone everywhere. And what I mean by everyone and everywhere is the different use cases. So we have our data analytics capabilities. So you're profiling information or data in advance as you utilize it in your analytics use cases. And I've listed them out in the different, so data engineering, MDM, in our governance, and within our observability capabilities. So data quality is something that's all pervasive and is as a requirement in the data management field. Okay, so bringing it into brass taxes, and we take. Okay, so I've logged into the environment that's accessible and that we're working with. It contains a number of assets that are here. So we're on our data quality. We were within the profiling yesterday, and now I will start with the cleanse asset. So let's just open that up. So what you can see here, just like yesterday, there's a menu line item here. We have the same pattern for creating all the assets. So I listed in the slides quite a number of those capabilities. So reaches from rule through to dictionary verifier, etc. So you see them all here. So we have chosen to work with a cleanse, and it's simply configured here. So you choose, it's a stepwise approach, and you can choose the activities that you want to add. So we're going to replace values. And that's what we've chosen in the configuration here, but you have the other options that are listed here. Now, as you make that selection, this panel, the properties panel, will populate correctly, and it allows you the ability um, to include a dictionary. So, for example, we are going to replace values. So we're going to replace values. We're going to use the values that are found within the dictionary. So as we get a preview of the content that's within that dictionary. So we have two columns, um, and we have different descriptions for USA, or America, the country as such. So we would look to standardize against the second column here of USA, for example, and use that one and sole value within our systems. So you might find in your input data sets the wide variety of descriptions for the countries. So it's using that then that we can then apply that within a mapping to change our data. So we have designed this. It has a single step to replace values. So if we wanted to test, if we're going to put in America, we put in United States, then we have that design time feature. We can select our runtime environment that we have, and then we can test that. And we would look for the results that will populate then on our output panel. So it's quite simple in essence, and you can also then just add further steps. So this can be a whole selection of steps involved, in definition. And I'll leave that to you to explore within your hackathon. Okay, so if I populate, it hasn't populated back to me, so I'm wondering where that runtime environment is. Okay, if I come out here to so I can just open the dictionary just so that you see that what that looks and feels like. So it's an Excel-like experience. You have the ability to upload files within that through the option here in the menu to import a file. It can be up to, I think, 42 columns wide, a dictionary. So it has a significant width, and it is a rather large number of rows that it can accommodate. And in the concept of data quality in itself, this is a very unmanaged asset as such. So like that, again, you have that definition and that look and feel, and we provide the other metadata involved. So I come back to the Explorer and I will open a parse or the parse. Okay, so again, a similar look and feel to how we define. So we have our panels, definition and configuration. You will notice here now this is a slightly more complex asset. So it has modes, and much like the dedupe has modes also, and the labeler. So you have a custom mode and a pre-built mode. You have this stepwise approach here. So you can add further. So as I mentioned, we have the regular expressions, or you can parse based using values available within a dictionary. So like that, as you add different steps here, the properties panel will render appropriately for you to help you in your configuration of your parse itself. And like that again, that whole experience has the test panel where once you have configured it appropriately, you can have your input, select your runtime environment, and your test button is enabled, and you can run to look and see how that looks and behaves. And then with that, you can refactor within your design time how you want to optimize your configuration before deploying it in a greater process of a mapping. Okay, so what else would I like to show you? I don't have a rule here. I don't know, am I showing the mapping, but I will show that here. And in essence, that will, as that renders, or doesn't, as that renders, then you will see how the data quality assets get included within a mapping. So for example, we have a mapping here that's defined, and it is included within my cleanse, the parse. The cleanse has a dictionary involved within it, but that's obfuscated from the user here when they're constructing their mapping or their pipeline. So with that, I'm going to return back to the data quality, and that will complete my my piece here today. So thank you.
Thanks, yeah. Thanks for the brief discussion detail on the data quality part. Karthik, you can take on from here the data integration part.
Sure. So starting with the data integration, I think we have clearly seen about like how to use the cleansing capability and the parsing capability to split the account number from the name, whatever we are getting from the flat file. So in the use case, what we are going to solve with through this pipeline is like we have a set of golden data or a set of data which is there already in Snowflake. Plus, in addition to that, we are also fetching some data from a flat file. That's where that the data is not completely cleansed or parsed. It's coming in a different format. So what we are doing in the pipeline is, you can see that we are using the transformations, and also the beauty is like the data integration and the data profiling is integrated very smoothly. So just by adding the transformation, you will be able to achieve the operations whatever you wanted to do it. As Sian mentioned that we have built more on the low code and no code. Even this mapping canvas is of the same principles, that you user no need to do any coding. It's just simple drag and drop, where he can select the sources and make a joiner here. Since in this case the joining condition is based on the account name and the name which is coming from the parser. So that's what, based on that, we are joining it and doing an expression to validate, to check the annual revenue. So we are grouping the annual revenue based on the dollars. Based on that, if the dollar is certain criteria reaches exceeding more than 7,500, then it is treated as a platinum. And if it is greater than or less than equal to 7,000, it is something like a diamond, and then gold, like that. So you can also write some expressions. We have out of box inbuilt functions available, as well as built-in functions also available out of the box. So if you go to built-in functions, we have 100 plus functions. We can use these functions for your use cases, like if you want to encrypt or decrypt, whatever. So all those things, functions plus string, math, operation functions, all those things are available here. And other beauty about data integration is like at any point of the transformations, just before the target, you have an option to do a preview. So using by clicking on a review, run preview, what you can do is behind the scene, it runs the jobs with a simple sample set of data and prompts you with the response. So which will help you to see how the data is getting transferred from one transformation to another transformation. This helps for you to build during your development time itself, to validate whether the pipeline has been built properly without causing any data issues. With that, I'm switching to my presentation, where I will be talking more detail about the capabilities of cloud data integration. So as I mentioned earlier, like the data integration is being built or based on three main principles. That is, we want to build an integration as a easy, efficient, and cost effective, as well as we are providing a single interface where the integration will be used by all personas, as well as the you will be able to address all the use cases you required for developing your integration cases. Let's cover multiple use cases and what kind of asserts you will be using, need to be using for achieving your problems. So we will be covering majorly three segments. One is about the data integration, SQLELT, orchestration, and reverse ETL. So data integration is the regular pipelines where you will be able to create a pipeline through our mapping canvas, where you can integrate from a source to target. It can be a batch integration. Also, you can schedule it so that it can be running on a scheduled basis. Similarly, this you can also configure the same mapping to run on CTC. So if you want to run on a CTC sources, then you can also have an ability to configure them at CTC source. Plus, coming to SQLELT, so in case if you're having a use case where you are dealing within the, we don't want the data to be moved out of that ecosystem. Say, for example, a data warehouse where you are staging the data in a staging area, and then you are cleansing and enriching the data and then pushing to the production instance. So in that case, all these things are integrations are happening within that particular ecosystem. So you don't need to extract, get the data outside of that ecosystem and run it or process it in your agent. Instead, you can use this capability so that you will be able to run it everything using the ecosystem compute. Third is about the orchestration. So we have seen multiple types of integration, right? Like how do you want to orchestrate? Like if you wanted to create a business flow, say for example, you wanted to read a file from a event-based listener, or you wanted to do an orchestration like one after the other. Like, hey, first I want to load the account objects, and then I wanted to process for the contact or opportunities, or even there should be some email notification need to be sent, or some kind of handling has to be processing has to be done. So all those things we will be covering under orchestration. And reverse ETL is like, say if you have already identified an insight by getting the data from your multiple applications, business applications or ERP applications into data warehouse where we have identified some insights. And now that insight, keeping that data within the data warehouse is not going to solve your business use cases, right? So you have to get back those data after identifying the insights back to the front end application. So for that we have DTT, which will help you to address this particular problems. Like you can, it's a wizard driven approach where you can directly create multiple steps, and you can create the assets for the simple integrations. Let's get more deeper into these assets. So first is with the mappings. So mappings comes with predefined transformations. So as I mentioned earlier, like it's a low code and no code where we have to just drag and drop the transformations. We have supporting about 30 plus transformation. It starts from source, target, and data quality transformations available, and data masking, data profiling, B2B transformations. So like that bunch of transformation we have. So based on your use cases, you can just drag and drop the transformations into the pipeline, and you can use it. Also, we do support a midstream preview, as I mentioned earlier. Like the in the screenshot you can see here, like during your development process itself, you can see like how the data is getting transmitted from one transformation to another, which help you for debugging and troubleshooting. So we have seen like multiple transformations. So just I wanted to touch base on a couple of the main transformations, like a structured process. Say in case if you wanted to deal with or wanted to parse an unstructured or semi-structured data like a JSON or XML, then you need to be using a structured process. So you have to create a component just similar to the cleansing. You created an asserts in a DQ, right? Similar way in CDI, you can create an asserts where you can embed your sample JSON. Based on that, it will understand, okay, this is for this JSON structure, this is how the fields has to be ported, and based on that, it will just create the fields however you wanted to downstream those ports back to the downstream transformations. So similarly, we support for H2H and H2R use cases. And in case if you wanted to invoke an APIs, like it could be an REST API or web service APIs. So in that case, you will be able to use our web service transformations where you can invoke that particular API to fetch that details. It can also be an action, as well as it can retrieve the data and then you can process in the downstream transformations. And other key thing is about in case if you wanted to do more customized solution which is not supported by these transformation, we still have a solution for that, like through Java transformation. So you can write your Java codes, as well as we do support a Python transformation in advanced DI, where you can write your Python, you can get your Python libraries where it can do the magic for you. And we are like Switzerland for connectivity. So we have more than 400 plus out of box connectors. So if you want to connect to any of your ecosystems, you can just go to the connections and then just create a connections on the fly, and then you can use those connections in source or in lookup or in your target. So let me quickly switch back to the portal and show you. So for creating connections, there is two way you can do it. Like one, you can go to the dashboard and go to let's get connected. Or other option is like you can directly go to the administrator service. From here also, you will be able to create the connections. So here we have a bunch of options, like in order to manage your org. These are more relevant to the administrator. So since you are more focused on creating connections, we are here into the connections page where you can create a connection. You can select the connector type or the endpoint type. So the intelligence of Informatica is like based on the connector type you are selecting, automatically you will be seeing the steps or the documents required for this to create these connections. And once you provide the details, you can test the connections and use the connections inside your data pipelines. Coming to the second topic about ecosystem SQLity. So we have seen that the regular CDI is used for integrating with multiple ecosystem, right? But ecosystem SQLT is something which you wanted to do, or you wanted to run that particular set of jobs within that ecosystem. So say, for example, your ecosystem you're using as a Snowflake, where you wanted to read a data from S3 and write it into a Snowflake table. So there you can make use of this ecosystem SQLT, where you can just set the source as your S3 and target as your Snowflake. So the main key advantage of this type of asset is like it takes the compute of the your ecosystems. Only for the design time, it will uses our CDI, and during the runtime, we will push the complete pipeline will be converted into SQL query, and it will be pushed into that ecosystem, so that there won't be any egress charges to you. You will be able to process everything within that ecosystem. And also we provide native functions. So every ecosystem have a different set of functions they provide. Say, for example, Snowflake, they do provide regular functions like arithmetic functions, string based functions, plus they are also supporting like AI based functions like cortex functions, where you can do a sentimental analysis, and then you can do a translate the text from any language to English and do a sentimental analysis. Based on that, you can do a prompt based transformation and get the answers for whatever the problem statement you are posted for. So this like these all this capability are supported out of box, and we provide an option to preview the SQL query. At the same time, we can also do a midstream preview, same as the same experience as we have seen with the regular CDI, where you can use it for doing your debugging and troubleshooting purpose. So quickly switching to the gears, like in transformations, or you can just click on the transformation, where we will see three options. One is our using a wizard base. That's about the reverse ELT use case. Second is about the mapping designer. Third is the SQL ELT. So this is the option. Once you select, we will be able to show you the set of ecosystem, whatever we are currently supporting it. And then based on the ecosystem you wanted to connect, you can select the ecosystem, and you can process means you can start creating your pipelines. Yeah, you can see here like the cortex functions, whatever supported by Snowflake, we do support those functions out of box here, so that you can use these functions without any hassle. Next topic is about dynamic mapping. This will be, say, for example, you have already created a mapping. So mapping is just a structure or a skeleton you are creating for a pipeline, right? So in case if you wanted to use the same pipeline for different scenarios or for different set of objects, but the pattern is common. So for that, you don't need to maintain multiple mappings. Instead, you can create one mapping which is completely parameterized, and then use this dynamic mapping task to create n number of jobs. Say, for example, your scenario is like you wanted to load the data from account of Salesforce to Snowflake. And same thing, you have to do it for multiple other objects with certain business logic transformation in it. So you can create a pattern as a pattern-based mapping, and then you can create this dynamic mapping task. Using this, we will be able to create and manage hundreds of jobs seamlessly. And the advantage of this dynamic mapping task is you can group them. Say, for example, you have hundreds of jobs, but all 100 jobs should not be executed concurrently. I want to run all the parent jobs first, and then the child, and then the grandchild. If you want to have this order, even that option is available. You can group them and then prioritize based on the group. So all the groups, which is you can see here, like I have created multiple groups, master and child. So all the groups, all the jobs in a particular group will be executed concurrently. Once that group is completed, then the next group will be started. So all the jobs which is belong to a particular group will be executed concurrently, and subsequently it goes to the invoking the other groups in case if the jobs are there. And also you will have a option to manage them during the runtime. If any task fail, then you can have an option to switch, means like a resume from the failure, so that you no need to rerun or reload the tasks which has already been completed. The And even again the crude API support is available for creating and managing or updating the dynamic mapping tasks. Same way, for runtime of your mapping, which we use a MCT, even that we support an API. So you can create the MCTs, mapping configuration task, on the fly using our APIs. Third one is about the reverse ETL. As I mentioned earlier, like say you have pushed all the data into your data warehouse, you have identified the insight. If you want back, push back the same, the insight identified data back to the business applications, then you don't need to create a complex mapping, or even a simple mapping is not required. Instead, you can use this data transfer task, which is a wizard driven approach where you have to select your source, where it can be a single object or it can also be a custom query. You can do a query, fetch the insight, and target will be your business application, and then do an update. So this can be executed on a delta basis as well. So as and when your data is a fetch, you can run these jobs in a scheduled basis, so that it will be keep pushing the data into your business applications. And this interface is created for non-technical users. So even business analysts can easily create a task. It's not necessary that they will have to use CDW only as a source. They can use any source and any target in this task wizard, and then they can do the simple integrations. Last about the Uber orchestration. So now we have seen everything like, hey, I have created multiple pipelines and tasks, right? Like now I wanted to execute them in a specific order. So in that case, we can use our task flow, which task flow comes with a large number of capabilities, and it also comes with the same way low code, no code options, where you can use the task flows for not only managing within our Informatica. We are open architecture with respect to the task flow orchestrations. In case, say for example, you have some set of jobs which is in ADF, which is running a ADF job. So you can also manage them. Say you can trigger an API through our CA process and control that CA process, or invoke that CA process using our integration ops, and use that to further to check whether that ADF job is submitted and what is the current status. If the job is completed, then trigger the subsequent CDI task. So this way you can collaborate not only within Informatica, also outside world also, in case if that ecosystems like ADF or webhook as well, right? Say for example, you have completed a job, you wanted to invoke a webhook to inform that your job execution is completed, or if there is any failure happens in your job, you need to create an incident in your service now. Then you can make use of this integration ops task to call out those APIs through CAI and create a ticket and submit it, so that the respective uh, admin or IT person will be able to take a look at this. And the second thing is like a beauty is like this task flow help you to integrate not only the CDI assets plus the outside assets. We can also integrate within our product other products like CDIR. So you can also create and manage your data ingestion and replication tasks as well in the task flow. Just to conclude, summary like, so we have covered multiple asserts, how it is used and where it is used and what are the kind of use cases. So mainly these asserts are built for the high productivity, so that we address all the business use cases, all the and also we are providing a application. This application is built for all different personas, and we can also see that it is everything is like user driven, like just drag and drop, which doesn't require any coding. So it is easy to maintain and operate. And also It is based on the consumption base. So if you are an IPO model, you will be able to closely manage and monitor the usage of your jobs. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Karthik. Thanks a lot for this detailed demonstration on the data integration part. So let me share my screen for the final part. So if you have seen like through day 1, day 2, day 3, we have covered all different services of IDMC like application integration, ingestion and replication, profiling, and today data quality and data integration. So we have seen like how you can build an AI agent, and then ingestion part and the profiling part, and identifying the data anomalies, and build DQ rules to solve those data anomalies, and integration of data anomalies, integration of DQ assets with the DI pipelines. So if you remember on the day 1 for application integration, so I have shown you, we have shown you like how the prompt has resulted in details for an account numbers. I have sent a prompt saying like, give me some details of the industry revenue and upsell status for a particular account. And the prompt has given me a bad data because of the bad data in Salesforce due to the improper migration or the invalidated migration. And now once the data goes through all these processes, like you have exported the data through using ingestion task, and then you profiled, you integrate some third party data, you build a data pipeline, and then you ingested the data back to Salesforce using an upset operation. And now once you send the same prompt, so how would that look like? So now once you rerun the same prompt saying like, okay, hey, send me the details of my account number, now you can see like there's an account number, there's an industry type, there's a revenue data, there's a billing address, there's an upsell opportunity. It all depends upon what exactly I'm asking my AI, what exactly I'm asking in the prompt. So like you can see, this is the prompt that I have sent to the Salesforce AI agent, like return account number, industry type, revenue, billing address, upsell for this S4 account. The same way you can build different agents, AI agents, using a pre-built recipes in application integration, and you can use different IDMC services all together in your business use case to solve your business scenarios. So that's it from my end. Shakti, over to you.
Sure. Hey, thank you everyone for walking us through the third workshop itself. It's exciting. I can see a lot of people still intact with us. If you guys still have questions for us, or any questions that you may, feel free to ask. Sudhir is there. He is part of all 3 workshops. So if you have questions regarding anything regarding Informatica services, so feel free to drop them in in the comment box. We will be more than happy to address those. But to start with, I see just one question today. So I'll just pull up that for you, Sudhir and everybody else. So Muzammil has asked this question. Informatica has pre-built recipes in CAI and CDI tools. Is it possible to have AI generate dynamic workflow recipes based on prompts? How reliable is that capability currently?
So yeah, Jakub, so currently the pre-built recipes are only part of application integration. So we do not have any capability where using a prompt you can create an recipe or an data flow or something like that. So like you can see in my screen, so if you're into once you're into IDMC and you're into application integration service, and if you remember on the day 1 session, like Kanna mentioned, we have a recipes option. So these are the recipes that we have already pre-built recipes that are available for you. You can just simply choose the recipe that you like to use, and we have also have details on how you can use this recipe or how you can configure this recipe. So this is same recipe that I have used for to build a Salesforce AI agent using Google Gemini. So similarly, you can use other recipes based on your choice and your business need that we have. So we have different recipes on RAG. We have different recipes on LLMs and all these things. So it's up to your choice, like which particular recipe you like to choose for your business model. But to answer your question, we do not have any process where using a prompt you can build a workflow or a recipe in IDMC. So you have to use a pre-built part. Yeah,
Yes.
Karthik, you can add.
Just to add on, like it's in our roadmap, and we are planning to come up with a Copilot, which will help you to, based on your LLM, it will auto-generate the pipelines, CDI pipelines, and CI. That's part of our plan, which will be available to GA by Q1 or Q2 of 2025.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much for adding that up, Karthik, and thanks for answering that, Sudhir. Sudhir, so meanwhile, others are thinking out loud, and if anybody of you have more questions regarding this today's workshop or any of the other ones, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. Sudhir, I've got a quick question. So we were receiving certain queries on our support lines post our workshops 1 and 2, right?
Okay.
Wherein people are facing a little difficulties. Like we had a question yesterday as well. People are facing a little this roadblocks while adopting for the free tier of Informatica login Informatica accounts itself. So will you be able to just walk us through how it is done quickly so that we can actually push this
Uh,
across?
sure. I'll quickly share my screen.
Yeah. While you are also sharing the screen, we've also got a question from Anjali that is hackathon related. So, no, Anjali, you can also participate solo. It is not mandatory that you form up a team, but it is preferable if you form up a team, it helps you in different ways out from on a hackathon standpoint. But yes, you can participate solo as well. Yeah, sure. Over to you,
So for
Sudhir.
people who are looking, yeah, for people who are looking to register, so you can use this link. So this link has already been embedded in the Informatica, sorry, hackathon website. So you just go through this link, register with your email address. You can register with your official email address or your personal email address. So we have only one option for you to data center as in North America. Just fill the mandatory details and click submit. So what this will do is like you will immediately receive an email from Informatica. So let me just see if I have a sample email. So you'll receive an email saying like this is your requested registration, and you can find out your login credentials, how it looks like, and I mean what is the login credential, and uh, to verify your email address. So that while on clicking the verify link, like you do for your other emails, so you simply need to give your credentials, and then once you enter your credentials, you're done with your Informatica account. You can use the login URL that you have in your email and the credentials that you have set to log in into the Informatica account. So that is how it is uh, to set up your Informatica trial account.
Great, thank you. We will also be sharing that link with you guys over separate email, so keep an eye on that. But thank you so much, Sudhir, for answering to that question. We've also got a follow-up question from Muzammil. So that's on screen now. Why can't we do the data transformation and orchestration that we do in cloud data integration in cloud application integration itself? It feels like they are duplicate tools. Would you like to answer that? Any one of you?
I'll take the transition. Like, yes, you can do it through CAI, but CDI is meant for like a large volume of integrations, and if you wanted mainly for transformations and for integrations, whereas the CA is for app-to-app integrations and for the like a real-time integration. But whereas CDI is it can be near real-time plus also a batch integration purpose. Coming to orchestration, yes, you can use either task flow or a CIA to do an orchestration. But why we have come up with the task flow is like there are certain customers who are using only the CDI product, so that's why they no need to have two different products to do achieve the single solution. So that's why there is an replication, but still it's up to you. You have a freedom like how you wanted to build that orchestration.
All right. Thank you so much, Karthik. I hope, Isabel, that answers to your question itself. And yeah, I don't see much questions coming in. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone, on the panel itself, and to
Before we close
all.
out, yeah, before we close out, I'd like to show how the email looks like. So once you register into your IDMC free trial account, right? So you'll be receiving an email from like admin@informaticacloud.com, and you'll be receiving a link to verify. You'll be receiving the username that you have set while registering for the free trial, and the login URL that you need to use to log in into the account. So this is how the email will look like once you register. And once you verify using verify and add your credentials, you're good to go and log in into your Informatica account. That is how simple you can register for an Informatica trial account. And like I already mentioned, this Informatica trial account is enabled with most of the services and functionalities, and this is valid for 90 days. So you're covered for this trial if in case you're for this hackathon, if in case you're using this trial to build your prototype.
Got it. Thank you so much, Sudhir, for bringing that up and showcasing us how to actually create an account on Informatica free tier itself. But anybody else, Karthik, Sean, if you want to add something up.
No, I'm good.
I'm good as well.
Okay, before we close up, we'll take up one last question. It is again a follow up by Muzammil itself. So here's one. Can you give some examples of how data observability features works in practice, given that it is relatively new?
Yeah, so am I audible? Yes. Um, so in essence, the observability is something that new that has grown in the within the field of data quality in the recent years. So it's a rebranding, or if I'd like to think about it, it's about getting in under the data and understanding potential issues in advance of them becoming issues. So did we do that in the past within the context of data quality? Yes, but but not in a hyperactive kind of approach. So we did some things like profiling. It up levels anomalies. It up levels features of the data. Also, there's the concept of scorecards, and that is seen, as up leveling um, line items or issues that may potentially exist within the data. So it's a new term, but it is applied in some ways to concepts that already pre-existed. So it's about taking that's kind of the phase one of observability, and you're moving it through. So it's about then extending beyond those kind of default activities that we had within the domain of data quality itself, and then trying to understand how data moves in your organization, how it moves through mappings, what is exposing more clearly the lineage of data as it tracks from sources to targets, and making that much, much simpler. And then for allowing the end user to develop metrics um, themselves to track data and to up level thresholds and threshold management so that they can be alerted to potential issues that come within data. So is observability the same as data quality? No, it's kind of more into the field of monitoring and getting much, much deeper into it, and getting under the data almost to anticipate issues before they become issues at all. Does that help?
I hope that helps. Thank you so much, Sean, for
I
answering to that.
actually, yeah, I had a slide. Let me see if I can get it. Let me see if I can get it for a minute that people can look up.
Sure. Also, if you can share that with us, we can also float it across if that is
Yeah,
okay
if I
with
can, I'll share my screen. Can I share my screen? And
you. Yeah, you can do that.
so if people take that code, so that slide will be in my deck as well, so people can look at it in a more thoughtful manner. All right.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, great. Thank you so much, everyone, on this panel for actually hopping onto this call and taking us through the third workshop itself. And to all the participants who have joined us and who are still there with us intact, thank you so much. I hope all of this helps. We will be floating across information regarding all three workshop of ours. You can refer back to them. And yeah, and I wish you all the very best for your idea submissions if you're already participating. If you are someone who's watching us for the first time, do register for the hackathon and then we'll take it forward from there onwards. But yeah, cheers. Thank you so much, everyone on the panel.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
And
you.
all the best for the
Yeah,
participants.
Thank
take
you.
care.